My name is Diana Lopez, and this is Medusa's Awakening Podcast. Trigger warning. This episode might address sensitive subjects that may be distressing for some listeners. Topics discussed include violence, sexual violence, childhood abuse, mental health issues, and substance abuse. Please be mindful of your own well-being while listening. If you find these topics triggering or difficult, seek support from a mental health professional or a trusted individual. We thank you for listening. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Medusa's Awakening Podcast. I wanted to hop on here because I wanted to share with everybody and to bring to light the plight of women around our world. Um, I don't know if I'm doing this episode because I feel like there is still so much victim blaming. And I believe that there are plenty of people out there that don't either realize this or maybe they just don't believe it, that we are all just making things up, we're over exaggerating. So I wanted to hop on here to bring some information to you for those of you that this is your kind of thought process. Um, I also believe it's not only important to share this, but it's also necessary so that we understand that while we are told we are free, I can assure you that we are still fighting for our peace and safety. The rape culture on this planet is astronomical, and still a lot of judges never enforce the punishment that has been laid out. It never fits the crime, especially when it comes to women, children, and our LGBTQIA community. If you don't believe me, well, here are a few examples of what it looks like. And again, please take care of yourself as you continue to listen to this episode. On November 13th, it was reported that over 130 Sudanese women turned to mass suicide in order to escape rape by the RSF militia. A woman by the name of Hala al-Karib is the regional director for the Strategic Initiative for Women in the Horn of Africa, and she confirmed this mass suicide. She was quoted as saying, "Our bodies have been used in war as weapons, and women in Central Sudan have been committing suicide because they couldn't bear the pain of gang rape and torture they are experiencing at the hands of the militia." It is not new that in a time of war, rape is widespread, and it is going back generations. Look at the story of the comfort women. These women and girls from Korea, China, Philippines, all the other occupied countries that Japanese men forced them to become military sex slaves. So, human trafficking. And this was from 1932 to 1945. So, this isn't new. And yet it's still happening. So many people think that we have moved away from this, but human trafficking is still so widespread. Look at what's going on in the DR Congo. According to Doctors Without Borders, they just came out with a report. Doctors Without Borders announced, together with the Ministry of Health, that their teams treated an unprecedented number of victims and survivors of sexual violence. Okay, so what's the plan here? What are we doing? What do you guys want to do? Do we want to stay silent and just pretend this doesn't exist while it still exists? The more that we pretend that these types of issues are not an issue, the bigger and more widespread it goes. That is why we have the problems we have today. We're not focusing on the right things here. I just want to lay out that even outside of war, these atrocities still happen to women like you and me, just every day in our normal lives. Look at the story of the woman in the French city of Avignon, Giselle Pellicou. She was married to her husband for a total of 45 years. And from 2011 to 2021, he was drugging and raping her and allowing over 50 men to come in and rape her as well. He was just sentenced to 20 years in prison. What I'd like for you to know about this case is that her husband, Dominique Pellicou, got caught because he was filming up women's skirts. And when the police went through his phone, they found the videos and the images of what he was doing to his wife. But here is another very disturbing detail that I think it is important to share because it tells you how horrible this crime has become so widespread that this gentleman belonged to a rape chat group on Telegram where over 70,000 men from all different countries were sharing stories, pictures, videos of them raping women. Some of them being their sisters, their mothers, their wives, their girlfriends. And this is why women all over the internet are choosing the bear. But let's not skip over the fact that even after all this coming to light about the person she was in love with, who thought this was her partner for life, and even after that betrayal, no matter how much this has rocked her to her core, it literally split her whole life apart, as you can imagine. She stood up for herself. She advocated for herself in court. And she also was determined to not remain anonymous, as is her right. And there is no shame in staying anonymous. Let me just say that. I want to be clear. There is no shame for the woman or the survivor to remain anonymous. These privacy laws are meant to protect survivors and are in place for that reason. So this was her story. But Madame Pellicou felt it necessary to come out and say, I want all victims of rape to say, Madame Pellicou did it, so we can do it too. I don't want them to feel shame. It's for them, the sexual predators. I will not express hate or anger, but I am expressing my will and determination for change within our society. Yes, this is why it is important to speak on this. This is why, though so many people will be triggered and so many people will be disturbed by this news, it is important that we talk about this. It is important to keep bringing this to light because not only does it bind us together in order to create change, but it's also educational to let others know that this is something that can exactly happen. In the US, we have the Violence Against Women's Act. But what I believe we are needing is, and what I think we should start doing is attaching a sort of hate crime enhancement. So, what that would look like if you went to jail for murdering your wife or your girlfriend because, during a domestic violence episode, that you should be charged with femicide along with homicide. So have that attachment. So basically another 20 years. I believe this hate crime attachment would be beneficial in trying to deter men by adding another 20 years to their sentences. And honestly, I feel like time after time, if men are getting off very light sentences, um, when it comes to rape, child molestation, femicide, that these type of enhancements are necessary. I think we need to go there. I mean, don't you? I mean, how else are we going to deter men from keep doing this to us. And where are all my men allies? We need you guys starting to speak up. You know, you as a male can get up, put your shoes on, put your headphones on, go for a hike. Not a care in the world. You can zone out on everything and everybody, and it's not like that for us. You know how we get ready? We have to put our locations on. We don't hike with both headphones on. We have to still be aware. How relaxing is that for us? We still have to be looking all the time. We share our locations with our friends. We tell them what the plan is. We tell them how long we're going to be gone. We try to carry devices to protect us. And we still will wind up being victims like the Georgia nursing student, Laken Riley, who did everything right. All the things I just spoke about, and it still happened to her. So what do we do? What are we doing? Because we really need to change this. I believe we start making the call to have femicide as a hate crime attachment all over the world because we deserve to be able to be safe when we go anywhere. We deserve the protections afforded to us when men take advantage of our vulnerabilities. Time and time again, I will keep coming on here. I will keep sharing these stories. I will keep getting the word out. But it has to also start with you too, because I can't do this on my own. It would be the same as you trying to do this on your own. Nobody can do this on their own. We have sisters out there, and we also have sisters and brothers and our non-binary people that we need to take care of. We need to start taking care of each other and realizing that when we are all in a vulnerable situation, that we will be taken care of because we can always do everything right and it won't be enough. Thank you again for listening. Thank you for listening to Medusa's Awakening podcast. Stay up to date on new episodes by following, liking, and subscribing to our pages. We are on Instagram at Medusas_Awakening, on YouTube at Medusa's Awakening, and on TikTok at Awakening_Medusa_podcast.